Thank you so much. As she mentioned, I'm Leslie Litmon, and I'm a therapist working with substance use and mental health in the community. So I've been working with teens for quite a few years, trying to help them and empower them and um, strengthen them about the different risks that are involved with substance use and those things. So I'm not here to lecture you today. I'm just here, like I said, to empower you and give you some truth about substance use and hopefully some tools to carry with you. And so we're going to talk honestly about alcohol, pills, and marijuana. Not to scare you again, but to empower you and just tell you about the real things that teens face. So we're going to get started with marijuana. Um, Connie, can you move the slide, please? Slide, please. I'm sorry. I'm not used to holding this mic, so bear with me. I might hit it on the table here a few times. Okay. So talking about marijuana, you can move to the next slide. Um, so who has heard of marijuana? I'm sure all of us have heard of it, right? Tell me what you know about it. Anyone tell me what they know about marijuana? I see you smiling. I'm gonna call you out. What do you know about it? Not good. Okay, that's good to hear. Anyone else know anything about marijuana? It can be a gateway drug for sure. Yeah. Why do people use it? Do we know why they use marijuana? To cope. Okay, that's true for a lot of people. To cope, to escape, to not deal with some of the things that they're dealing with. So yeah, that's good. Slide, please. So marijuana comes from the cannabis plant. I think many of us know that, and we know that it can be smoked, vaped, or eaten, and it's usually to get high. The main chemical that causes the high is called THC. Um, how many of you have heard someone say that marijuana is harmless? Like I know you've said it's bad, but so you know it's not harmless. I mean, has anyone heard people say you've heard that? Okay. Okay. Next slide, please. So it's not, and it should be noted that it's not just smoking anymore. Edibles and vapes are like sneaky ways that people can use marijuana. They look like snacks or technology, and it's easy to overdo it because it does seem like a snack when you're eating it or whatever with the edibles. And when the effects don't happen immediately, then you may eat more, just like you say a pack of Skittles or something like that. They have edibles that look like that. So if you're eating that and you're eating it like you eat Skittles, then it can definitely be something that you can overdo very quickly because the packaging copies real brands and are hidden textile boxes like earbuds, things like that. Vapes can look like USB drives or chargers. And the key is that it's designed to avoid detection because teens are using, they're targeted toward teens, and teens are using them. And so to avoid detection um, and to appeal to teens, they're put in these formats to help you access them better. Anyone ever seen some of these snacks or tech that can pass as um, real items? Yeah. Okay. Next slide, please. So, is weed really harmless? Um, you might hear people say weed is natural and it grows from the ground, so it must be safe. But that's not the whole story, right? Natural doesn't mean harmless. We think about poison ivy. Poison ivy is natural and it grows from the ground, but it's not good for you, right? So it's something we definitely try to avoid. Um, and understanding too that today's marijuana is not as mild as, say, in your parents' generation when weed was much milder. Now it's 3 to 5 times stronger than 20 years ago, especially in forms like dabs or edibles. Um, and something we'll talk a little bit more about is how it changes your brain and how your brain works. It disrupts your brain messaging. especially in areas that control motivation, focus, mood, and impulse control. And yes, it can be addictive, something else we'll talk a little more about. A lot of teens don't believe this, that it can be addictive, but the science says otherwise, that about 1 in 6 teens who use marijuana regularly will develop a cannabis use disorder. Um, and it's not regulated on the street. It could be laced with fentanyl, PCP, or synthetic weed like K2 or spice, and there's no way to tell by looking at it. Why do you think people say weed is harmless? Who has heard that? Anyone? Yeah, why do you think? Yeah, so it'd be more normalized. Yeah, that's good. Yeah. What do you think about that now? It is normal to see it, right? But do you think it's harmless? No. Good. Next slide, please. So let's talk about how weed affects the teens. Affects teens. Um, why do you think weed affects teens differently than adults? Exactly. Yeah. Can you hit the slide again? Oh, you did it. Sorry. um, yeah. Teen brains are still developing, and your brain keeps developing until around the age of 25. Especially the prefrontal cortex, which controls your judgment, it controls impulse control, decision making, long term planning. And THC interferes with the brain, how brain cells communicate and connect, especially in areas like motivation, memory, and emotional regulation. And so think of your brain as a house under construction, and marijuana doesn't pause the work. It can mess with the blueprint, So if the blueprint changes, then how the house is constructed is going to change, right? So think of your brain in that way. When you add THC, another substance, to that, it changes how your brain develops. Um, and this affects teens more strongly because teens are more sensitive to THC. They may feel the effects more intensely. Um, and earlier marijuana use starts, the earlier it starts, the more likely it can lead to addiction and mental health problems, like depression, anxiety, even psychosis. Has anyone ever seen anyone impacted by marijuana use in a negative way? Yeah. Yeah, I've seen some young people use marijuana and go into psychosis and not come back from that. And it seems harmless, but it's not. Because again, your brain's still developing. It's, trying to get you to the adult brain, but it can kind of sidetrack that and have you in spaces that you had not anticipated. It can also rewire the reward pathways, which puts you at risk for other substance use later in life as well. And in addition, the long-term effects of THC use are greater for the teen brain. Teens who use marijuana early or regularly are more likely to experience difficulty concentrating, memory problems, poor school performance, and lower motivation. These effects may last even after they stop using because, again, the brain is still wiring itself. Um, so just understanding that weed messes with your brain process, the development, the growth of your brain. And it feels like a chill choice now, and it may cost you in focus and mood and memory later. So it's definitely something that you would, want to avoid. Excuse me. Next slide, please. Oh, you're there. So let's talk about addiction. Anybody recognize that weed can be addiction? Come back one, please. Thank you. Come back two. Come back three. Where are we at? Go to slide 7. Thank you. A lot of people still think that weed isn't addictive, but that's not true, especially for teens. Again, the younger someone starts, the higher the risk of developing a cannabis use disorder. And that's when marijuana starts interfering with your life. Even if you want to stop or cut back, you might be saying things like, excuse me, I'll quit after this weekend. I'm not addicted, just needed to sleep. when someone tries to stop, they often deal with cravings, irritability, trouble sleeping, and anxiety. Excuse me. It can quietly affect your grades, your focus, your goals, and your motivation even before you realize it. Remember, not everyone gets addicted, but no one plans to be addicted. Why do you think people don't believe weed is addictive? Any thoughts? Okay. Yeah, because a lot of times people think that addiction looks like someone, hanging on the edge of the curb, looking strung out and things like that, and that's not what addiction looks like. You can see here it. Excuse me. Let me pull up my. It looks like loss of control over um, how often you use and some of the other effects that we see up here. You might feel anxious, irritable, restless if you don't use it, and things like that. All right, next slide, please. We're going to transition into talking about pills. All right, so what comes to mind when you think about pills? You can go to the next slide. What comes in mind when you think about pills? Say it again. Overdose. Okay. Anyone else? All right, so let's just start with the basics then. When we say pills, we're talking about um, medications like Xanax, Adderall, Percocet, or OxyContin. Some are real and prescribed by a doctor, but many of the pills being passed around today are fake, made to look real but made in illegal labs. Anyone aware of fake pills going around? Hmm. Real pills are prescribed for anxiety, pain, or attention issues and other things, but even those can be dangerous if misused or taken without a prescription. Fake pills or pressed pills look identical to real ones, but are made with no quality control. They're often made with fentanyl, meth, or other hidden substances. Teens may hear it's just a chill pill or it's safe. I got it from a friend, but it didn't come from a pharmacy, and so you can't trust it. If someone offered you a pill, would you be able to tell if it was real? Anybody be able to tell if it was real? No. You wouldn't even know what's in it. Next slide, please. Press pills are counterfeit pills made in illegal labs. They're designed to look just like real medications. Again, like Xanax, Adderall, and Percocet, but there isn't anything safe about them. They're not made by pharmacies. They're made using pill presses by people with no medical training, no safety standards, and no concern for life. Most of them contain fentanyl, which is a synthetic opioid 50 to 100 times more powerful than morphine. And just a few grains, as you can see in this depiction, can shut down your breathing. Just yesterday, I saw in the news where at CVG they had a whole big Ziploc bags of pressed fentanyl pills. And so it's not just happening other places, it's happening here in our local area in Southwest Ohio. Like thousands of pills trying to be transported through the airport. Um, they look exactly like the real thing, same color, same stamp. You can't tell the difference with your eyes. Overdoses are often unintentional as well. Many teens who die from these pills don't know they're taking fentanyl. They thought it was just a chill pill or a sleep aid. Um, there's no warning and there's no second chance. And it's not about the long term consequences. It's about not waking up after you've tried something like that. Have you ever heard of anyone taking a pill that wasn't theirs? Anyone ever heard of peers or people you know taking something that wasn't theirs, that's not prescribed to them? The scary thing is not just that they're illegal, but it's what's hiding inside of them. Did you know that fentanyl is the number one killer in fake pills? And the DEA says that 6 in 10 of fake pills they seize contain a lethal dose of fentanyl. And some press pills I've witnessed this myself in the work that I do, that some press pills are laced with methamphetamine, cocaine, um, and they put other things just trying to boost the effects. And you can't see or taste fentanyl. Sometimes people will say, I can tell if you can't even see or taste it. So you would not be able to tell. And these is happening again, like in Dayton, Cincinnati, and across Southwest Ohio, being disguised as Xanax, Percocet, or Adderall. I've seen it disguised. I've seen meth disguised as methamphetamine, or methamphetamine disguised as ecstasy. So you could be offered a pill by someone who doesn't even know it's deadly. It only takes one mistake. And so many people are willing to take pills without knowing what's in them. Next slide, please. And you don't need to hang out on the street corner to find drugs anymore. Teens are being approached and offered pills on their phones, through apps, and things that they use every day. Dealers use Snapchat, Instagram, and TikTok to market pills that look like Adderall, Xanax, and Percocet, and more. They're often advertised with emojis or coded language to disguise the intent of the pill. And so it's fast and informal. And all teens have to do is DM a dealer and meet somewhere and exchange cash or digital payment. No prescription, no safety, no idea what's really inside. And the social media aspect makes it low risk, or normal, if you will, like ordering food or clothes. And teens may think, my friend got one and was fine, but the next pill could be laced with fentanyl or meth. And once it's taken, there's no rewind button. You can't go back on it. It's in your body. All right, let's move on to alcohol. Next slide, please. And one more. Oh, you're there. Sorry. All right, so let's talk about alcohol. Something you've probably seen in your home or on TV or at a party. It's legal for adults, but that doesn't mean that it's safe for everyone. Alcohol is the most commonly used substance among teens, but teen brains process it differently than adult brains, just like we talked about with marijuana. And the same thing would be with any substance. Um, the teen brain is going to process it differently because of the prefrontal cortex, which is not fully developed yet, and controls judgment and decision making, still under construction. So it disrupts that process when you put substances on it. When teens drink, it affects their emotions, behavior, focus, and risk taking more intensely than adults. Binge drinking, which is having several drinks in a short amount of time, is the most common pattern for teen drinkers, not casual sipping. Alcohol also lowers inhibitions, making it more likely someone will do things they normally wouldn't do, like getting into a car, fighting, unprotected sex, or using other drugs. And thinking about sexual assault, you're more prone to sexual assault if you're under the influence of alcohol or other drugs. And so alcohol hits teens harder even though adults drink more often because of the underdeveloped brain that teens have. Next slide, please. So, what is binge drinking? Anyone know what binge drinking is? Okay. And so, when we talk about alcohol in teens, we're usually not talking about someone sipping wine with dinner. Most teen drinking happens in binges, which is a lot of alcohol in a short amount of time. It's defined as four or more drinks in one occasion for females, and five or more for males, all within 2 hours. It causes a spike in blood alcohol concentration, which affects your ability to think, move, and respond to danger. Some common effects of binge drinking are blackouts, where you do things you don't remember, alcohol poisoning, which can be fatal, risky sex or sexual assault, fights or aggression, drunk driving crashes. And teens are especially vulnerable because their bodies are smaller and brains are still wiring. They get drunk faster and are affected more deeply. You may hear phrases like getting lit or turning up, but the consequences can be life altering. What have you seen or heard about binge drinking or drinking at all? No? Okay. Let's go to the next slide. So, mixing equals a major risk. When you mix alcohol with other substances, it's where things get especially dangerous. And teens do it more than you would think. Alcohol plus pills like Xanax, opioids, or Adderall can slow down your heart and breathing to the point of unconsciousness or death. Alcohol and weed increases disorientation, blackouts, and risky decisions. The effects also stack on top of each other, they don't cancel out. Um, so that means you're deepening the effects of it and not, one doesn't, you take one and it doesn't make the other um, symptoms go away, it just lends on top of those. And mixing substances equals unpredictable outcomes. You can't control how one drug will affect the other drug, and you can't undo it once it's in your system. Many overdose deaths happen not from just one drug, but from a toxic combination. Teens may hear things like, I've done this before, or just take a little. But everyone's body reacts differently, and no one knows what's really in street pills or weed. Why do you think people are trying to escape or to feel? I know you mentioned something earlier. You said to cope. What kind of things are teens trying to cope with? Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. So yeah. I mean, teens have real stressors, right? There are things, but just know that there are other ways to cope with those stressors. That drugs and alcohol don't have to be how you cope with that. There are many other ways. Next slide, please. So the consequences of substance use are real. Um, some people think drinking as a teen just gets you grounded, but the truth is it can change the path of your future in humongous ways. In Ohio, it's illegal to possess, consume, or purchase alcohol under 21, no exceptions. Um, and teens caught drinking can face fines, probation, court ordered alcohol education, juvenile record, and also a DUI under 21, which is called operating a vehicle after underage consumption, has a zero tolerance policy. Any amount of alcohol equals license suspension. So if you're caught drinking and driving underage, they will take your license or any potential for you to get a license for a long time. And it adds fines, points on your license, and a record. At school, you might face suspension or expulsion. I've seen a lot of that. We get a lot of kids from the local schools come into our agency because they've been caught drinking, using THC in the school, smoking, using nicotine, things like that. These are all real things that are happening. Um, so you might get suspension or expulsion, loss of athletics. I've seen a number of children or teens not able to engage in the athletics that they enjoy because they chose to use substances. College admission is at risk, all those sort of things. Even if it's just one night, pictures on social media, police involvement, or hospital visits can follow you into college, into jobs, into internships. What's something you could lose if one night went sideways? Who can share something that you could potentially lose if you decided to use drugs or alcohol and that night went to the left? Yes. Mm-hmm. 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 Wow. Mm-hmm. 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 Yeah. Thank you for sharing that. I mean, these the effects are real. Like I said, I've seen a number of teens come in, and the parents are confused about what's happened. Like they used to be a normal teen, and now they're dealing with this psychosis and the delusions and the hallucinations and things like that. Because again, the teen brain is still developing, and you're completely rewiring your brain when you add substances to it. Next slide, please. So whether we're talking about weed, pressed pills, or alcohol, they all affect the same thing: your brain. And your brain is your most valuable tool for becoming the person you want to be. Marijuana can impact memory, attention, motivation, and emotional control, especially in teens. Pressed pills are unpredictable, often deadly, and alter the way your brain handles pain, stress, and reward. Alcohol weakens your impulse control and can lead to risky decisions you can't take back. Excuse me. And again, the brain doesn't finish developing until around the age of 25. So everything you feed it now affects how it goes, how it grows. Um, you won't always be a teen, but the choices you make right now will shape the adult you become. The good news, you have more power than you think. Um, so you have to ask yourself, what kind of future are you building with the choices you make today? Next slide, please. And so, what will you choose? You don't have to have all the answers today, but you do have a choice. You can't always control what you've seen, what's been offered to you, what your friends are doing, but you can control how you respond, how you protect yourself, and how you shape your story. Maybe you've made risky choices before. That doesn't disqualify you from, it just makes your next choice that much more important. You can ask for help. You can say no, that's not for me. Walk away, talk to someone you trust. You're never stuck. Um, and you're worth protecting, you're capable of change, and you're not alone. There is help. Any questions, comments? Okay, that's
Thank you. Thank you. Thank you so much. Um, as she said that she deals with youth and adults as well. I deal mostly with just adults. Um, So this is right here is my baby. Working with people with addictions. A lot of people can't deal with people that has addiction, but a lot of addiction comes from a lot of mental health. So she deals with that on so many levels. But what I want to show y'all guys something, because I want y'all to engage with me real quick, because this is knowledge so you guys can have. Um, First Lady, can you pull up on the internet? I want to show them what a baby looks like when they are withdrawing off a addiction, when their parents have you addiction, was on drugs, and what they look like. I want to show you guys something. Just type in baby withdrawing off of drugs in the hospital. You could just pull up anyone, the one that's in the hospital, it'll show that one. It should be right there. You'll see how bad they shaking.
Her mom, and so that's definitely the best thing for her, is for you to be involved and be here as much as possible.
I pretty much used the whole pregnancy. I was scared to death to go to the hospital because I knew what was going to happen, and I had to be responsible for my actions and actually stop using and try to get help.
She just ate. I know she's not hungry.
By the time I got in there, I was about 30 weeks along, and the baby basically is formed, completely formed, and I was terrified that what if something's wrong with her? What if she's deformed? She has a mental problem. I knew she was going to have withdrawal.
It makes it a lot more serious.
Yeah, I think that's why we were in the position we were in. To cover it up.
Who would like to go next?
I'll go. Mine says my biggest regret is
You can pause it.
definitely putting my kids on the back.
So there is another video that actually shows you where the baby is actually laying in the NICU, where she's actually shaking because she's withdrawing off of drugs.
She
See?
is in severe withdrawal. This is the group of babies that was all born to moms that are opiate users. They can be very, very irritable. They have these very high-pitched cries. They can be very shaky and tremory, and in the most extreme form, they can have actual seizures from the withdrawal. Right now, she
Okay, you can pause it.
having some tremors.
All right, so those are different things, as she was talking about, that you guys, people go through addiction. So I will just say, you're looking at someone that, mom that used drugs, that was me in the hospital, that was withdrawing off of heroin because she used it when I was pregnant, when she was pregnant with me. There are a lot of things that you struggle with growing up. Learning disability, how to do different things, how to move. That's me. But you begin to push yourself to break different generation curses, right? So it's always want to fit in because my friends smoke weed. I have someone now that's on my caseload that start using at the age of 8. 8 years old. 8. You'd be surprised what you run into. Always fitting in is not always good. So I need a couple people to role play with me real quick. We're going to role play this situation out because you're going to be faced with different things that you got to learn how to stand up for yourself and say the word no. Who wants to be the first? Because I'll call you out. Call you out. Well, who want to do it? Come on, because I'm good with role playing. Who? Micah, come on. Where Micah at? Ivy. Who want to do it? Britton. Come on. Come on. Isaac. Who else? Sean. Come on. Come on, let's do this. Britt, come on. All right. Let me get something out of my purse real quick. No, it ain't. It ain't. Now, y'all, these are just ibuprofen pills, okay? Just ibuprofen. Just ibuprofen. All right, so the key is Leslie role plays too in her class. Okay. All right. So the key is I am y'all, right? I am y'all, but I'm your friend on the outside. But I'm walking up to you guys and I'm going to try to get y'all to buy in. Are y'all ready for this? It's going to be intense. Y'all ready? Y'all can't be standing there. Y'all got to act like y'all in a park. Y'all got to act like y'all doing something. Talk, act like y'all out on this outside. You got to do something. Hey, what's up? What's up? What y'all doing? Talking, what y'all doing? Where y'all going? Nowhere?
Not right now.
Hey, I got these. I'm telling you, it's going to have y'all lit.
Nah, we good.
Huh? What?
We good.
Why? These?
What is this?
I'm telling you, it's going to have you sitting.
I don't want
No, you don't
They
want.
don't
Why
want
not?
it.
Why?
Because
I
don't
need
know
you to
what it
take.
is.
You
What's
don't.
inside of it?
You want it?
Nope.
Why? It's gonna make you fit in.
I don't do pills.
They gonna talk about you. You want them, Ivy? Why you backing back? Huh? You don't want it? You want it? No. Why? You're not talking, huh? You don't do pills? You want alcohol? No. Why? What? You know those gummies? I got gummies at the bottom, but they got marijuana. You want them, Sean? Why, Sean? Look, they can't even see your eyes, so they wouldn't even know you was high. Huh? You be
Oh no.
Isaac?
Oh no.
Isaac.
You gotta go to the next.
You sit in the back, so they really ain't gonna know.
No,
Huh?
ma'am.
No?
No.
No?
No.
Why are you saying no? So y'all don't want to? Why not? Are y'all gonna tell y'all friends this for real? Be real. You can say it's a hard thing to do if it is. Is it hard? Is it hard to say no? It's hard, right? Because it's so much peer pressure out there. But guess what? What did the guy say to you earlier? You're what? What?
Royalty.
You 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 what?
Royalty.
I mean, you better say it like you mean it. So that means when you're faced with peer pressure, you have to let people know this ain't what it is. Right? I can't do this because I'm royalty. So what you are, what you push yourself to be, that's who you are today. Moving forward, right? You don't have to fit in to look good. Because you already look good because you what?
Royalty.
All right. All right. So remember, I'm going to get y'all engaged next. Back there. That, right there. I'm telling y'all. AD, you know, that's my child too. All right, Jay, all y'all. We got to pull y'all out. Telling you, I see so much and it brings tears to my eyes. It does. So we're going to pull y'all out. We got another speaker coming up. Two more speakers coming up. We on the stretch, y'all. Huh? 2 prizes up. Sean, you want to go?
All right. I think it's probably easier to say no to those pills that she was offering, but are y'all going to say no to that weed and that drink? The weed and the drink is rampant. All right. 7037. 7037.